All right, so remaining questions from question 5 now. A programmer uses high-level language to create a computer program. Identify two advantages to the programmer of using high-level languages instead of low-level languages. Okay, so this is not the big deal. This is very easy question. Basically, we all know that it is easier, quicker to read. It is easier, quicker to debug. Code is portable. Portable means that you can write a code in high-level language and you can compile that code or run that code or execute that code on any of the computer. Walaikum assalam. Okay, so the proper way to answer is just very simple. That is, it is easier to read and write, or it is easier to debug. It is easier to understand. It is easier to remember. Code is portable. That this is something portable means that you don't have to change your code in any way. All right. So basically, let us write that 5A1. It is easier to debug. It is easier to read, or it is quicker to understand. And the last point is the code is the high level language code is portable. All right, so assembly language or low level language code is not portable. Only the high level code is portable. Portable means that you can basically take this code, put on any computer, and computer will execute. So just wrap it up. Two advantages of using high level language instead of a low level language for a programmer are readability. High level languages are designed to be more human readable, using familiar constructs such as loops, conditions, and functions. This makes it easier for programmer to write, understand, and maintain the code. Low-level languages, on the other hand, are closer to machine code and are and require a deeper understanding of the computer architecture, which can make it more difficult to work with. All right. And number two was the platform independence, which is basically the portability. Okay, so portability and platform independence. High-level languages are generally platform independent, meaning that code is written in a high-level language, can be compiled and interpreted to run on different types of hardware and operating system. In contrast, low-level languages like assembly languages are platform-specific, architecture-dependent, and code written in low-level languages typically needs to be rewritten or modified to run on different systems. Okay, now let me put my own version to it. It is just for your understanding. Okay, so this is basically sort of marking a scheme, and for your understanding and remembrance, I have put my own version of it. Okay, so there we go. Next question, part 2. Suggest one disadvantage to the programmer of using high-level language instead of low-level language. So what that could be, that disadvantage is basically one disadvantage of using high-level language instead of low-level languages for programmer is reduced control and performance. High-level languages provide a greater level of understanding that we technically call abstraction. Abstraction means that we don't have to get indulged into any of the details. We rather pay attention only to what is required and we work around it. So here, when we work with high-level languages, abstraction from the hardware, underlying hardware over which we are working, that is given. That is basically one, which simplifies the programming. However, this can also result in less control over the hardware and system resources. That means that we cannot write any of the software which requires to deal with hardware, like device driver. If I invent a device, I would like to control that device. Let's say I have invented one different sort of printer. So that printer cannot be accessed until unless there is a respective driver for it. So for writing the driver, I cannot use high-level language. Okay, so high-level languages do not give us greater control over the hardware and system resources. In certain cases, it may lead to decreased performance and suboptimal use of resources compared to code written in low-level language, where a programmer can more directly manipulate memory registers and processor instructions to optimize the performance. For you, from exam point of view, let's keep it very simple. So this is basically part 2, 5A, part 2. This was 5A1. This is part 2. So what is part 2? Part 2 is not able to directly, cannot be used to deal with the hardware directly. Okay, so cannot be used to deal with the hardware directly, and we need to translate them so that could be utilized by the processor. Okay, and as I said that they will be they will perform on basically they will be less performing as perform not optimal, suboptimal level. Okay, so they'll perform slow and not at optimum level. Okay, so this is the answer that you would have to actually give an exam. All right, move on. Part B. The programmer uses an IDE when creating the computer program. State what is meant by IDE. That is basically a software which is used to control high-level language, coding and all. An integrated development environment is a comprehensive software application that provides programmers with a suite, a collection of tools and features designed to facilitate the process of writing, testing, debugging, and maintaining the code. IDEs typically include source code editing, syntax highlighting. If there is any wrong with the syntax, it highlights it and lets you know. Code completion means you write a little and it completes it itself. Error detection, if you like to debug, and there are other debugging tools as well. And then the best part is that it has built-in compiler and interpreters and other integrations as well. By bringing together these features within a single interface, the software makes IDE integrated development environment. And it makes the whole process of development and productivity for programmer working with high-level languages easier. So what is meant by the is basically, this is very simple. Okay, all you have to write is just very simple.
It's one of the largest bicycle sharing program. More than 60,000 people public bicycles.
All right. Hold on. Okay. All right. So which part was that? It is part B. Okay, 5B. So it is software. IDE is a software with all of the requirements to write a code in high-level language. Facilities available within the IDEs are, but not every time, or maybe, or the IDEs include, but not every time. They are typically include a source code editor, syntax highlighting, code completion, error detection, debugging tools, a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so a source code editor, syntax highlighting, code completion, error detection, debugging tools, built-in compilers or interpreters, etc. You don't have to actually remember all of it. Okay, so you may write like maybe a couple of the facilities which are provided by the IDE, because it is just 1 mark question. Robots are used in a factory to build cars. One characteristic of robot is its mechanical structure, state to other characteristics of a robot. Remember, this is basically from chapter 6, automation. So this is question 6A. Question 6, part A. So it says that one characteristic of the robot is this. Okay. Robot has got so many mechanical parts, electrical components. It is programmable. You can alter it and all. So if you can understand it from the point of view of monitoring and control thing, it is the most sophisticated thing that humans have ever developed. If you remember from the class, I would have shown you a few most sophisticated robots made nowadays from Amazon, from Sony, and from that Boston Dynamics company. So 2 other characteristics of robot besides its mechanical structure are its control system. A control system is responsible for receiving instructions, processing them, and sending signals to robots, actuators to perform tasks. It is an essential component of the robot, and it coordinates with the robot's movements, ensures precision, and allows the robot to adapt to different situations of the task. So we can say simply that it is programmable. All right, so these robots are programmable. And the second part is basically its electrical components like sensing and making perception out of it. Robots are typically equipped with the various sensors that gather data about their surroundings, such as cameras. If you have seen over the Apple devices, a lidar sensor, a sensor that senses the depth of a scene, ultrasonic sensors, tactile sensors. This data enables robot to perceive and understand their environment, which is crucial for tasks like navigation, object recognition, and manipulation. The processing and interpretation of this data contributes to robot's ability to perform tasks autonomously and interact with its environment effectively. So simply put, it has got electromechanical, and basically electrical components. All right, so this is the simplest part. So I made my case. And then part B. Part B says, suggest two advantages of using robots instead of humans to build cars in the factory. Okay, so what would be those two advantages? There are many. Two advantages of using robots instead of humans to build cars in the factory are precision and consistency. This might be the first thing. What? Precision and consistency. All right, precision and consistency. Robots are capable of performing tasks with high degree of accuracy and repeatability. All right, so they can do this untiringly, whole day, whole night, without being getting tired. They can maintain consistent quality that never changes and precision throughout the production process of the cars, reducing the likelihood of errors or defects. In contrast, when humans work, they may be more prone to inconsistencies and variations in their work. They can get affected by the tiredness, and they need to get off and all. And the second one is speed and efficiency. All right, speed and efficiency. So speed and efficiency, robots can work at faster pace and for extended periods without breaks, fatigue, or loss of focus like we humans have this issue. This can result in increased production rates and overall efficiency in the manufacturing processes of the car. Additionally, robots can be easily reprogrammed, as we discussed earlier, to perform new tasks or adapt to changes in the production, making them a flexible solution for various manufacturing needs. Human workers, on the other hand, may require more time to adapt to new tasks or procedure. They would have to learn about it. We humans cannot be programmed, and they may experience fatigue, which can impact their productivity. So very simple. They have precision and consistency, speed and efficiency. They are more. I told you that they are consistent, precision, so they are accurate. They can replace humans. They are consistent. They can work around the clock. There are so many other things might be present since there are just 2 marks. So let's leave it there. All right. So question number 7. The Unicode character set is used to represent text that is typed into a computer. Describe what is meant by a character set. If you do remember from our classes, character sets are all those characters which are known to computers. All right. HLL means beta, a high level language. A character set. Let's get back to this question. Okay. Describe what is meant by a character set. A character set, also known as a character encoding or char set, is a defined set of characters that represent letters, digits, symbols, and control codes. Simply whatever that you see and use over your keyboard are all the characters, which can be used in text-based communications and data storage and typing. Each character in this set is assigned a unique numerical value known as ASCII code, which allows computers to encode, store, and process text data consistently across different platforms and systems. If you have got a different hardware, a different branded phone from another company, I have a different one, but still we can communicate because our devices basically use the same character set as ASCII and Unicode. Character sets enable computers to convert sequence of characters into human readable text and vice versa, ensuring that information can be accurately exchanged and displayed. So basically, let's write the answer. Question 7 and A part. Any and all characters which are present over the keyboard and understood by a computer. All right. Secondly, each of the character is assigned a numerical value. All right. Called what? Called code point. Sometimes it is called code point or just a number. And we have got examples, so many of those, but two that we have studied is American Standard Code for Information Interchange, or ASCII, and then Unicode, Universal Coding Scheme. These are 2 character sets. Okay. Now part 2. B. One disadvantage of using Unicode character set instead of ASCII character set is that the text stored takes up more space. Give one reason why it takes up more space. Basically what happens that ASCII code takes 1 byte 8 bits. Okay, so ASCII code takes 1 byte 8 bits, whereas Unicode at least takes 16 bits. So whatever the data that you are saving in ASCII, let's say, yes, it requires more bits per character. So let's say if my name is Zafar, so if I'm saving it in ASCII format, it will take like 5 bytes. But if I'm taking, if I'm saving it in Unicode, in that case, basically, it will take 2 bytes per character. So in that case, I would have 10 bytes to store. Okay, so it is very simple. It is just 1 mark. So we will write ASCII stores each character in 1 byte, whereas WHERE, whereas Unicode takes at least 2 bytes per character. All right, so basically this is easy. Okay, so let me revise it. One reason why using Unicode character set takes up more storage compared to ASCII character set is the increased number of bits required to represent each character. Unicode is designed to accommodate a wide range of characters, including those from various languages, writing systems, and special symbols. To represent this extensive set of characters, Unicode typically uses more bits per character, such as 16 or maybe more than that, than ASCII, which uses ASCII only uses 7 bits per character, but it also includes the 8 bit for parity thing, so a byte, and ASCII can only represent 128 characters for that reason. As a result, text encoded in Unicode generally requires more space, more storage space than the text encoded in ASCII. All right, so draw a diagram to represent how virtual memory is created and used. Now this is the diagram. So this is very easy. You don't have to actually, hold on, let me pull up my iPad for that. Hold on for a moment. So let's see. Do you see this? Okay, yes, I'm sure that you people can see this. Or let me exclusively share it to you. Okay, now. So what basically happens that we have got several programs in computer's memory. Sometimes what happens that we need to, let's say this is program 1, program 2, program 3, program 4. They are there. Out of these program 1, 2, 3, and 4, program 1, 4, 3 are there. They are active programs, and there is free memory. All right, so there is free memory. Let's say I want to save a new program into computer's RAM or load a new program into computer's memory. In that case, what will happen that I will see that which of the programs are not active. I will put them in computer's hard disk. Hold on. So virtual memory. Let's see how we can define it. Let's say I've got RAM with me. This is computer's RAM. Remember, a little of the RAM is always taken by the operating system. So operating system is always there. I've got a hard disk. This is the symbol. This symbol is basically the hard disk symbol, hard disk drive. I've got several programs on this hard disk installed. Okay, I loaded one of the program it had taken, this is program 1, some space in computer's RAM. Then another program, it had taken another chunk of memory. And then I've got another program that has taken a little more memory. So this part of the memory is free. Now what basically happens that our computers are having so many programs. So, let's say these are icons. I want to load another program. So what will happen that I will take my mouse there and I will click on one of the icon. Now this icon is basically related to this program. Okay, now this program needs to be loaded. So these programs are being loaded. This is loading. What is loading? Taking a program from computer's storage into the computer's memory so that computer could use it. Now this particular icon that I have clicked is basically related to this program. Now this program requires a lot of memory than available in the RAM. So RAM is limited. Now what will happen? While these programs are being loaded, computer takes a note of which of these programs are basically active and which of these programs are inactive. So let's say this program was active, being used actively. So this is active, this is active, this is inactive. Okay, so computer now know that this P3 is inactive. All right, so what computer would do, it will take this P3 and put it back in hard disk. Okay, in the hard disk, there is an area which is basically allocated for such. All the inactive programs and their data will go to that area in computer's hard disk. So this particular area is called virtual memory. You see, what is virtual memory? Virtual memory is basically the memory which for the user of the computer is in the use and it is in the RAM. All the programs are loaded in the RAM, but actually that memory does not exist in the RAM, rather it exists in the hard disk. So this P3 will be offloaded to this virtual memory, and this area which was earlier taken by P3 along with the free memory is now free and available. Now what will happen, this particular program that is linked with this icon is now having enough space in computer's memory to get loaded. Now what will happen that this particular program will go and will be loaded in this computer's memory, and this is now program number 4. This is program number 4, and as soon as this program is loaded, it is no more inactive, rather it is now considered, this particular part of the RAM is now considered as what? Active. So for the user who is using this computer, the program P1, P2, P3 and P4 all are loaded in the RAM, but only computer knows that since a program that was inactive and you wanted another program to be loaded, inactive program has been transferred to hard disk. All right, so this is basically the case. The area in the hard disk which is used for the RAM is called what? The virtual memory. Okay, so let's get back. Hold on, let me share. Or we can simply make a diagram that says that this is our RAM. This is very simple RAM, and this is our hard drive. Okay, and in the hard drive, there is an area which is called virtual memory. So from the RAM to the virtual memories, programs are being swapped. This is called virtual memory. Okay, so you don't have to actually be very much precise the way I was, rather all you have to make this. So this is basically your that part 7, what was that? 8, question 8A. Okay, so all you have to do is this. You don't have to be very much sophisticated about it. Okay. Now, let's get back. So I showed it, right? Part B. A student is using software. So can the question be repeated that are in the specimen? Yes, why not? They will be rephrased and there is chance. And you would see that a couple of questions would be coming from a specimen, either of these specimens. Part B, question 8B. A student is using software to create 3D models. This process often requires the use of virtual memory. Explain why virtual memory is needed for this process. Okay. So basically, virtual memory is needed for the 3D modeling process because it allows the computer system to handle larger and more complex model than would be possible with just the physical RAM alone. 3D modeling software often requires significant amount of memory to store and manipulate large amount of data, such as geometry, textures, and rendering information. When the physical memory becomes insufficient to hold all the data required by the 3D modeling processes, the computer uses virtual memory as an extension of the physical memory. So all you have to write is to extend the RAM capacity. Okay, virtual memory works by allocating a portion of the computer's hard drive to serve as additional memory space. The operating system manages this virtual memory by swapping data between the physical memory and the storage devices, allowing the 3D modeling software to access more memory resources than would be available solely through the RAM. This enables the student to work with large and more complex models without running into performance issues or limitation imposed by the physical memory capacity. Okay. So this is just 3 marks question. We are not going to write that much. This was just for your understanding. So lastly, however, it is worth noting that accessing virtual memory is generally slower than accessing physical RAM due to the slower read and write speeds of the storage devices. Hard drive always are very slow to render the data, to access the data and all. So as compared to the RAM. As a result, relying heavily on virtual memory can lead to decreased performance in the 3D modeling process. So what we are actually going to write for this part will be simply question 8, part B is why do we use virtual memory? So it is to extend the physical RAM or memory storage. All right, and to make 3D modeling program use as much RAM required instead of getting freezed or crashing okay, and that's it. I think to make more memory available for the requirements of 3D modeling program. Okay, so this is basically sort of marking scheme stuff that you are going to write in exam, and then I'm going to put some commentary here so that you could revise it as well. Okay, all right, next part. So can we write in points rather than in paragraphs? Yes, you have to write in that part in bullet forms. That is actually required. So complete the sentences about symmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption means both the server and the other side, they both are basically using the same encryption keys. That is symmetric. Use of the terms from the list. Okay, use the terms from the list. Some of the terms in the list will not be used, so you should only use a term once. Okay, algorithm, cipher, copy, delete, key, plain, private, public, standard, stolen, understood, unreadable. All right, so basically we are not going to use all of them. So this is, I like such questions. These are very innovative. Okay, so let's start. The data before encryption is known as plain text. All right, let me put this for you. This is question 9. So yes, it is plain text. All right, so the data before encryption is known as plain text. So here we go. To scramble the data, an encryption algorithm, which is type of cipher, is used. The data after encryption is known as unreadable text or cipher text. All right, so this is basically cipher text. All right, so this is called cipher text, not unreadable, rather cipher. Encryption prevents the data from being stolen or understood by a hacker. Stolen by the hacker. I think stolen. Do we have such word, stolen? Yes, stolen is better rather than understood. All right, so this is it. Sir, blank 3 में क्या आएगा? All right, so blank 3, the data before encryption is 1, which is type of cipher. Encryption भी कह सकते हैं हम, which is type of encryption. All right. So let's see what is in marking scheme. Marking scheme says the data before encryption is known as plain text. To scramble the data in encryption algorithm, it is correct. Which is type of cipher is used? Algorithm, which is a type of yes, couple of times we can use the same word. Which is type of cipher is used. And then the data after encryption is known as ciphertext. And encryption prevents the data from being stolen, or originally I put it right way. Your marking scheme says that understood by the hacker. Okay, so you see these are basically, if you see your marking scheme has a couple of words with the slash in between. So let me just copy that. So you can use this is marking scheme stuff. You can use words. You see, either you can use these two algorithms there, algorithm is here as well. So you can go with a couple of words which are same. Yeah, you see, they have said it. So if we are using key here, we are using algorithm there. If we are using algorithm here, we can use key there. This is fine. All right. So in an art gallery uses secure socket layer to provide a secure connection when selling art on a website. Describe the process of SSL and explain how it provides secure connection. This is basically with regard to SSL in symmetric. Okay, so it is 6 marks question. Okay, so this is question 10. So secure socket layer is a security protocol. Protocol are those software which enables the communication. These are the preset rules used by the sender and receiver. Okay, so SSL is a security protocol used to establish a secured and encrypted connection between the client, such as web browser, and the server, such as the web server hosting a website. The process of SSL and how it provides a secure connection can be described as, number one, client-server handshakes. When a client wants to establish a secure connection with a server, it initiates a process called the SSL handshake. The client sends a message to the server, which includes SSL version. It supports a list of supported cipher algorithms, encryption algorithm, okay, and some other information. Then server responds with the server-side message, which includes SSL version, which cipher technique will be used. Sometimes a hash key and a digital certificate. The digital certificate contains server's public key, and it is used by trusted. It is issued by a certificate authority that basically the client verifies. The client verifies the server's digital certificate by checking its validity through issuer and expiration. If the certificate is valid and let's say trusted, the client proceeds with the key exchange. It generates a key which is called a session key, and the session key is encrypted using server's public key, and sends the encrypted this session key to the server in encryption, in encrypted form. Both the client and server use the session key, the hash key, and server's information to start connection. All right. So by using SSL, the art gallery, as it is mentioned in the question, can provide a secure connection for selling art on its website, as it ensures that the encrypted communication of sensitive data, such as payment information and personal details, between the client and server, protecting it from eavesdropping or hacking, tampering, and other potential security threats. So let me just copy your marking scheme, which sums up everything in it. So marking scheme says to use all these. SSL is a security protocol. It encrypts the data that is sent. It uses digital certificates, which are sent to the buyers or browser, requested by the buyers or browser, that contains the gallery's public key that can be used to authenticate the gallery. Once the certificate is authenticated, the transaction will begin. All right, so this is basically the same stuff. So so let me put it in simpler terms. So secure socket layer is a secret code. Is a software that generates secret code that help your computers talk safely with a website. Imagine like two friends passing secret notes in the class, but they use a secret language that others don't understand. Let's say when your computer wants to talk to a website safely, it sends a hello message, just like saying hi to a friend. It also tells the website what secret language code is it knows. The website reply with a hello message. Let's say it picks up a secret code from the list to your computer. When we are actually talking to a website, we are telling them that we knows all these codes. So the server will be picking up one of those techniques. All right. So then your computer looks at the website's ID card, their SSL, their certificates, ID card, to make sure that it's real and can be trusted. If the certificate or ID card is good, your computer creates a secret key and locks it with the website's public key, like putting it in a box that only website can open. All right, so it is now encrypted. Sharing the secret. Both your computer and the website uses the secret key to create a secret code. This secret code is used to turn their messages into secret language that only can understand by you or the other student. Okay, so you are client, the other student is server. So there they start talking in secret form. Okay, so now that's it. So this is finished.